Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome back to another video for EVE Online. In today's video we're taking another look at a Tech 2 assault frigate. This time it's the totally not Amarr Empire, Vengeance. It's Carnage Kingdom. It's Carnage Kingdom. The Minotaur fanboy in me wants to stress it's not Amarr Empire, it's Carnage Kingdom. It uses rockets. It's basically a Caldari or Minotaur ship at this point, right? There are plenty of Minotaur ships that use missiles and can be armor tanked, so it's probably built by Minotaur slaves anyway, so, you know, it all counts. It's not Amarr. It's really not Amarr. Anyway, I actually really like the Vengeance. I love the look of the Punisher hull in general, really sleek design. We get rid of that awful bone and gold thing that the Amarrians are so bloody obsessed with, and go for this really handsome sort of silver and black instead. Don't even need a skin for this one. It uses rockets, so we get all that big whoosh banging going on. It's a great fun vessel. I really enjoy this one, and screw it, so that's why I'm showcasing it. I'm having fun, here's how you can too. Thanks, Otto. Anyway, what we're going to be doing in this video then is talking about the Vengeance. I'm going to be looking at this mainly from the angle of running Abyssal Dead Spaces, notably Tech 1 Darks, but we can also use this for J-Space ratting, both in C1s and C2s, especially Wolf Rayets. This works really well in C13 systems. I haven't had the chance to undock it into a C3 Wolf Rayet, but I see no reason at all that it shouldn't be able to cope with those other than the Awakened Upholders, so maybe bring a friend who's got a bit more range than you do, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, if I make you chuckle at all, if this helps in any way, drop a comment down below to let me know, and hit like. Both of those things massively help the content out on the channel. If you do want to go the extra mile to be awesome, big shout out to all the folks who support me on Patreon, for example. Their names are listed at the end of the video, and if you want to learn more about how to support financially, stay tuned, we'll talk about that a bit later on. Otherwise, if you need some help with EVE Online, two things I can do for you. First of all, a referral link in the description down below. Click that, gives me a little bit of a kickback, gives you 1 million free skill points. What's not to love about that? And then come join the Catskull community Discord as well while you're down there. Bunch of really friendly guys. More than happy to help out in any way, shape, or form that we can. Heck, even come join the Catskull cartel in-game. That all said and done then, let's jump right into basically talking about the Tech 2 Carnage Kingdom assault frigate, the Vengeance. I like assault frigates. I think they're a lot of fun to fly, and they're really quite versatile in how they can do so, and the Vengeance genuinely is actually one of the ones I enjoy most. It's right up there with the Wolf and the Jaguar and the Hawk, which is surprising as an Amarrian vessel. That's why I have to tell myself it's not Amarrian, it's Carnage Kingdom, right? It may use the Amarr frigate bonus, but it's totally Carnage Kingdom. The Minotaur fanboy in me, I can't handle the fact that I actually secretly really enjoy an Amarrian vessel. Anyway, as an assault frigate, the Vengeance gets a roll bonus, reducing its micro warp drive signature radius penalty by 50%. This means that instead of giving you a 500% signature radius bloom, it only gives you a 200% signature radius bloom. For example, actual numbers may vary. This means that when you are flying one of these ships and using a micro warp drive, you can actually speed tank. You are going much faster than the bloom at this point, so the speed increase outweighs the signature radius penalty. That means you're actually speed tanking with micro warp drives. That said, because of the short range of rockets, and we are going to be using rockets as you'll see in a moment, we tend to switch the micro warp drive off once we're under the enemy's guns. Just means that whilst you're approaching, you are harder to hit and you're not taking as much damage as you normally would with a micro warp drive. We also have the ability to fit assault damage controls, which is one of my favourite little modules in the game. They can only be fit to assault frigates and heavy assault cruisers. They are kind of like your standard damage control in that they passively increase your hull, armour and shield resistances, but not as much as a standard DCU would. That's because these also have an activatable mode. Activate your assault damage control, and for the next 8.78 seconds you get a massive increase to all of your resistances that mean you take practically no damage at all. It is worth noting you can't just spam this though. Once activated, there's a 150-second delay before you can activate it again. It does go into a cooldown, making it a great big panic button. Like, oh crap, I'm taking too much damage. Panic. Done. Anyway, let's have a look at the actual bonuses that make the Vengeance special from other assault frigates. Notably, the assault frigate bonus and Amarr frigate bonus. Being a Tech 2 vessel, you are going to need Amarr frigate all the way up to 5. That's going to give you a 25% bonus to rocket damage. Notably, not light missile and rocket, just rocket. Followed by a 25% bonus to light missile and rocket launcher rate of fire. So that's to say, you don't have to fit rockets to this. Light missiles do get the nice rate of fire bonus. 25% firing faster light missiles is cool. I just think that if you're going to fly a Vengeance, lean into the rockets, right? Like, lean into those bonuses hard. 25% additional damage and 25% rate of fire is just attacking the DPS equation from both sides. Oh boy, it's great fun. It's great fun. You're just going to be launching clouds of rockets at your opponent, and who doesn't like that, right? Assault Frigate, then, the skill that you don't have to have trained all the way to 5, gives you 4% bonus to all armor resistances and 5% bonus to ship capacitor recharge rate. Now, both of those are actually really nice skills. They don't affect your DPS, but they do affect your survivability, and both are well worth it. The Assault Frigate skill is also not all that bad skill point wise. If you're going to get this to Assault Frigate 4, you kinda may as well get it to Assault Frigate 5. There are 9 different Assault Frigates in the game, 2 for each Empire plus the Triglavians, makes for that being a really useful skill, because if, like me, you enjoy rockets, you've now got the Vengeance alongside both the Jaguar and the Hawk. If you really like armor tanking, well, there's a whole bunch of assault frigates. You just get so much versatility out of that one skill. Train it to 5, seriously. Train it to 5. Anyway, the fit that we're going to be running for this, as I said, is primarily based around Tech 1 Dark Abyssal Dead Spaces. That means we're going to have to worry about versatility in damage application because we don't have one particular weakness, like how in a Firestorm it's weak to Inferno damage. Yeah, that works. Inferno damage. Thermal damage is what I'm trying to say. In an electrical, your EM damage is, increased due to lower resistances, that kind of thing. With Darks, we don't have that. What we have is super fast moving ships, which means we are going to need some tackle on here. We'll get to that in a moment. If you do want to use this for J-Space ratting, though, which is something I'm a big fan of, this will run C1s, C2s, and C13s, no problem. I'm pretty sure you can also take this out to a C3 if you wanted to run it in that situation, as long as it's a Wolf IA. Wolf IA C13, I think, will do really quite nicely with this. I haven't had the ability to test it. The range is possibly an issue because of those rockets against upholders, but if you can find a way to deal with that, you should be okay. Maybe bring a friend, I don't know. Anyway, ultimately, yeah, if you want to go DED complex ratting, this is probably going to do that up to, I'd imagine, 4s, maybe 5s at a push. Someone in the comment section, I'm sure, can correct me on that and tell me the actual numbers and how well that can do there. Let me know. Anyway, the fit, as shown here, is going to be listed in the description down below. You can copy-paste that into game, into Python, see how it works with your skills. So, starting off with the high slots, we have Rocket Launcher 2s. Max flight range here with Rage Rockets is 8.4 kilometers. Not great range, it's a frigate, what do you expect? 230 DPS though, that's not bad at all, and if you need a bit more range, you can always swap from Rage Rockets to Javelins. That will do quite nicely. I do recommend carrying Nova, Mjolnir, Inferno, and Scourge, because you are going to need to be shooting at different things when you're in Abyssal Dead Spaces that have different resistances. That said, if you're in J-Space, just pick whichever, because obviously Omni resists. It doesn't matter. Just carry a ton with you. Our mid-slots then, I said we're going to need application. Stasis Webifier II. In dark Abyssal Dead Spaces, everything moves faster, so the ability to slow a ship down, very important. You may even decide that you want to take this from a Stasis Webifier II all the way up to a Federation Navy in order to get the additional 4 kilometers range. That said, I've not personally had any issues with 10 kilometer range, but 14 kilometer range and still 60% slowdown? Yeah, you might want to. I don't know, you do you, right? And because going fast is a thing, Sonic the Hedgehog style, 1 meganewton Afterburner II could probably bling it, but why? 50 mil ISK ship, 45 mil ISK ship, right? Keep it cheap, baby. 1 meganewton Afterburner allows us to move around quite comfortably, 948.1 meters per second, fast enough for an assault frigate. Why not a micro warp drive, Benzie? You said they're really good. Yeah, except they're going to knock off at least 20% of your capacitor, which is going to drop our capacitor stability into the red. Bad idea, unless you want to force yourself to be running electricals. Electrical filaments cost more than dark filaments, they make no additional money. Yeah, I would rather run darks than electricals, thank you very much. So in regards to cap stability, small cap battery 2, you could upgrade this to something like a Thucker if you really wanted to, or a Republic fleet. I'm happy with small cap battery 2, it does the job, right? Again, why make it more expensive if you don't have to? Low slots then. First of all, we've got a bit of damage here. Ballistic Control System 2, just to keep that DPS nice and high. For tank and survivability, we have that Assault Damage Control System. You'll see without the Assault Damage Control System, we've got pretty good resistances. 61% being our lowest in thermal, 88 in explosive, with the other two partway between. Activate that Assault Damage Control, and for the next 9 seconds, oh boy, your lowest resistance is 90%. Even your shield resistance is 75% electromagnetic, is just bonkers good. That's then coupled with a Multispectrum Coating II and a small armor repairer too. Again, you can bling these out, but I just like to keep it cheap. If you can run the content in a 44 million ISK ship, why would you run the content in a like 70 million or 100 million ISK ship that doesn't really do it that much faster, right? Keep it cheap, keep it simple, keep it effective. Rigs then are the final thing to talk about here. We have a small auxiliary nano pump 2 and a small warhead Calefaction catalyst. Damage and tank. Simple as that. You could probably drop the Calefaction catalyst and go for some more cap stability if you really wanted in regards to like running J-space anomalies and things like that, but this is kind of how I've got this working best, and I'm quite happy with how this works. 44.1 million ISK, it's hard to go wrong, right? Anyway, the final high slot there is a Core Probe Launch 2. Why is it offline? Because, well, if I put it online, we don't have enough CPU. Simple as that. If you are J-Space ratting, then you just turn that on when you need it. You put that online and you turn something else off. Like, what else can you turn off to make that work? Let's just drop the web. Yeah, there we are. Turn the web off, turn the probe launcher on, and now you can scan down your exit if you need to. Simple as that. And then when you're done, you just put the web back online and the probe launcher offline. Simples. Anyway, folks, let's actually showcase this in action, shall we? So I'm going to be running this in a Tech 1 Dark Abyssal Dead Space, but remember we can theoretically be running this in J-Space as well, C1, C2, C13, and basically C3 Wolf Ray A. I really want to get more info on that, but I keep talking about it. Anyway, so here we are, room number 1 of this Dark. It is a Lucifer room, or an Angel room. We've got a Lucifer Echo and a Lucifer Ixion. The Ixion has disruptors and it has a painter on it as well. Theoretically should be the first one we go for, but that Echo is right up in my grill, so we're going to take that one out first. Remember, if you're not sure about what weaknesses your target has, right-click, show info, and have a look at the different resistances, so you can always select the best missiles for the target you're going after. There we are, nice and easy. That one goes down nice and quick. We then have the Ixion to go after. We are out of range of it at the moment. These are fast-moving vessels because they're Angel ships, but we can close the gap quite quickly, and as soon as we're in range, we're going to get that web on. I'm just going to wait until we are within range. There we go. That's going to slow it right down. And then we're going to start to launch our rockets now that we have that within web range. Basically, we've slowed it down, we're in range, it's not going to run away, and our missiles are going to, well, rockets, are going to do better damage. You'll see that I do have the armor repairer running at this point in time. Don't really need to have it running yet, but you do want to have an armor repairer running before you start taking damage. The aim is, because armor repairers actually do the repairing at the end of their cycle, not the beginning, you ideally want to try and set it up so that when you activate an armor repairer, it's just as you're about to take damage on your armor, so it repairs it quickly. But that's talking about min-maxing. We're not going to worry too much about that. If you're that much of a min-maxer, you're probably not watching my videos, right? Anyway, so there we are. That Ixion goes down fairly easily. Very little damage there taken. At this point, we head after the biocompetitive cache, and we're going to pop that open, grab our loot, and move on to room 2. You'll see, again, nice approach here, decent speed, courtesy of being in a dark abyssal dead space. Make sure you are approaching, not orbiting like I'm currently doing, but hey, you want to be going in a nice straight line so you can get close and loot. There we go. I've got my orbit currently set to 6,000 meters. You could theoretically just set it to 1,000 actually, for almost every enemy that you're going to come across in this kind of dead space. 1,000 is going to be fine. There we are. So we're going to come after that loot. We hit loot all, either click it or use the keyboard shortcut of striking your return key. I tend to click because I'm weird like that, then we activate the gate. And we're going to move into room 2. At this point, you really should be reloading your rockets. I've just done so. This means you go into the next room with full rockets. Even if you end up changing which type of rockets you're using, at least there was the possibility that you were at a fully loaded, ready for the room if you don't need to change the type. So I'm currently using Nova, for example, what we got in room 2. Strike needles. Okay, these are Omni resists for the most part, I think, if I remember correctly. To sellers, drones, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to lock onto everything. Pick one to orbit. Let's have a look. No, they're not Omni resists. Probably best one there to go for is thermal or explosive, or EM. Yeah, of course. Go for EM. That'll do nicely. Start orbiting, get the webs ready, and start shooting. Even in a room like this, now the strike needle rooms, the Tesella rooms, tend to have a decent whack of DPS coming at you, and one of your best ways to survive is just to kill stuff, right? I know that sounds really obvious, but killing stuff is a great way to reduce the amount of incoming damage, therefore assisting with your survivability. It's really that simple. And these are a bit of a race in that regard. You want to be able to kill these quickly. There is also a blue room in here. If I were really struggling, I could fly through the blue room, through the blue cloud, and get them to have their signature radius blossom so that I apply more damage, but we're using small rockets. It's going to be absolutely fine. Application is going to be great. We've got the webs and that on them. As long as we're in range, because these are fast-moving targets, you don't want to be on the edge of your range, or you're going to find that they move away from where they were before. Again, I just want to say I love the whole clouds of rockets, the way you get that shoom, and then everything just suddenly spirals inwards on your target. It just looks amazing. I love rockets, probably one of my favourite looking weapon systems. And the new upgrades in Viridian to the different visuals of like electromagnetic, you know, your Inferno, all the different types doing those different explosions. One thing I don't think they mentioned is that actually you also get a really nice upgrade to the sound effects. Like thermal, you get this sort of heat blast, heat wave effect come over. Electromagnetic, your Mjolnir rockets, they have this sort of electrical crackling noise to them as they hit things now. It's great. I love what they did. I know Viridian's a couple of months ago now that landed, but I just don't think I'm going to get over that for a while, just how absolutely incredible it made the game. We were talking about this in Fleet Chat the other day, and yeah, I think whoever does the sound design for EVE is probably the least, like, you know, that's an awful job to do, because they have done so well in this game, and yet so many people play with the sound off, and it's just like, ugh. The music is great and so atmospheric, and the sound design when it comes to things like, you know, your combat scenarios, the different weaponry, your ship sounds. Oh, if you're playing with the sound off, why? So immersive, so good. Anyway, we've got a devoted night room. This is the one room that a lot of people go, oh yeah, I'd love to see you do a devoted room, so I'm showcasing it this time, bitches. Devoted night, no problems at all. Oh, what's that? The poor thing can't even hit me. Oh no, how terrible. So we're just going to orbit it nice and close. 6,000 meters is plenty. Could go a little bit tighter if we wanted, actually. We always like it a bit tighter, right? Looking at the neutralization, that could be a problem. I'm not going to stress it too much, though. We're going to see how well we do up against that neutralization from the Devoted Knight, and then play around if we need to. We know we can be pretty cap stable, with everything running, but obviously if you turn things off, like right now, do I really need the armor repairer running? Do I need the armor repairer running, since I'm taking no damage on the armor? I'm not even taking damage on the shields, to be completely frank. So yeah, we probably should just switch the armor repairer off. That'll make us nice and cap stable. I'm not even convinced we need the afterburner at this point in time, but let's see what happens if we turn the armor repairer off. Oh, do you look at that? The neutralization now is no longer enough to provide a threat. Awesome. How awful was that? Like, yeah, Devoted Knights, terrible, scary, awful. That's it. There we go. I'm not going to sit here and ramble endlessly while we just circle a Devoted Knight and slowly rip it down. I finished this on with 12 minutes remaining, I believe, at the end of this Abyssal Dead Space. Decent ISK there for a 40 million ISK ship. Honestly, this is one of my favourites. This is right up there with the Hawk for me, as use this if you are trying to decide what to run for low tier Abyssals. It's cheap, it's effective, it's great fun to fly. Anyway, folks, that's about everything for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you use the Vengeance at all, or heck, if you've got other ship fits you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comment section down below. Hit like on the video does really help me out, and in a second you're going to see an awesome list of awesome people who help support this channel financially. If you want to join them, come find me on Patreon. I'm trying to get better at writing little blog posts and things. Obviously with FanFest coming, might be before this by the time this video goes out. I don't know which way around I'm going to do it. If this video will come out before or after FanFest, but either way, at FanFest I'm going to be going absolutely obnoxious with vlogging and blogging and things like that, so yeah, there'll be that to look forward to. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching this one right the way through to the end. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!